Hello, hello, one and all. How are we doing today? Welcome to Friday. Oh, this is different. What are we having up here? I see. Release that. Today is Friday, October 29th. Happy pre Halloween to all you Halloween people out there. My special guest today is going to be Mr. Rick Furst. And let me do a little reading of the bio from Mr. Furst. He is recently moved to Austin, Texas, which is welcome. Let's see. He's done session music. He's a session musician. He's an engineer. He has variable songs like Elton John, David Bowie, Randy Newman, Tom Waits. The award-winning composer musician started performing professionally as a rock, pop, jazz, and classical musician when he was 12, and he played over 10,000 gigs. His grandfather was a hit songwriter, jazz band leader Jack Skilret. He's a studied bachelor bachelor in classical music composition from University of Chicago. He studied with famed vocal coach Don Lawrence, most recently in a popular duo Silver and Spruce. With his late wife, he returns to remind America why he's one of the great singer-songwriters of our time. And without further ado, here is Mr. Rick Furst. Let me bring him to the set. Shbing. Hi, friend.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, look at that pretty guitar. What you got there, brother?
Well, I'm very proud of this guitar. It was made in Austin. It's a Taya, and it's got real turquoise on it.
Oh, I'm a turquoise woman. I love turquoise.
And look at all of the carvings on the metal and everything.
It is
And Taya,
beautiful.
he moved to Nashville, sadly, but he makes fabulous guitars, and someday I'm going to get another one or two of these because they are sweet.
Is it solid body or hollow body?
It's a solid body. He has a special engineering on his guitars. It has a 5 selector switch, but what you get is different than what you get on a Strat. And then he has a knob that enables you to mix in. This is getting a little bit technical, but these are humbucker pickups. They have 2 bars of magnets in them to cancel the noise, but it also creates a different sound. This is kind of like based on the Les Paul, the Gibson Les Paul. Mm-hmm. But you can dial a switch to get a Strat sound instead, which is a single bar pickup. And no other guitar allows you to get a Strat and a Les Paul sound on the same with the same setting knobs. And you can mix in shades of both types of guitars. But it goes beyond that. It has a sustain. He worked out a way to get sustain like you wouldn't believe. And you'll hear it humming. My one concern is that this is very lo-fi. And when I do play for you, I had bought I'm a dinosaur. So I went out and bought a webcam for the show. And it turns out it doesn't work with Macs. So I'm back to using the speaker on my iPad. And unfortunately, fidelity is not going to be as good as one would like.
Well,
I just hope your listeners accept, why it's not going to sound like the record.
We'll have to talk about that because why doesn't it work with Mac? That's amazing. Okay, gosh, that is such a pretty. Do you have a name for it?
Well, no, I don't need my guitars, but let me show you some sustain here. Why is it not playing here? Oh, wrong knob. That's why.
Hey, pretty.
Forever.
That's super cool.
And it's got a throaty. It's a beautiful tone. Very easy to play. And I got it used from one of the shops in Austin, and I really got a great deal. I can't tell you how much I love it. I've got a small herd of guitars now, and I
You
used to
said
have many, many
heard.
more. When my wife got sick, she made me get rid of, because we had bills. So she made me get rid of a lot of my own guitars. So I'm in the process of rebuying stuff, and I've used this to record a lot on my Down to Austin album, which drops on November 5th. Well, also already the Down to Austin single dropped already. And is available on Spotify and iTunes and everything. This guitar was prominent on that album.
Fantastic.
Because it's so easy to play and because it records so great, and engineers appreciate that.
And say the name of the maker again.
Teye, Teye.
Because I like the guitar.
Yeah, you would have looked him up, because this is actually one of his lower end guitars, believe it or not. And they become more fabulous as you spend more money. And as I say, I got this used, and it costs a pretty penny to get them new. But there are some out there on the used market.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Whew, all right then.
But they're worth every penny.
Yes, it shall be, because that'll be one I go, oh, thank you, and never touch it again. Wow.
Yeah,
but it is beautiful. He's a beautiful designer. That's amazing.
Yes. Matter of fact, some still appear on the used market in Austin, so you ought to check it out.
I'm sure they will try to have the same price.
Get the
same price.
They're about almost half of what it would cost to buy it new. Yeah.
Nice.
So I really lucked out, because one thing I don't like about guitar versus piano is that you have to practice a lot more, because on the average guitar, as you know, if you don't practice every day, you lose your calluses and it gets harder to play. But on this guitar, that's not the case, which is neat. So I also have an acoustic guitar from Canada, which you should check out, which is called a Boucher. And those guitars are made exceptionally well for people who like to play acoustic guitars. I highly recommend Boucher, Boucher. He's French.
Boucher.
And they're made in Canada. And they're just beginning to come into the States. And you wouldn't believe how easy they are to play and how great they sound. So my next guitar, I already have one of his smaller cutaways. I'm going to get a Dreadnought from him next on the acoustic scale of things. And it's really important what axe you use. I know you know that because you're a guitarist. It's super important to pick the right guitar, because so many guitars out there, even though they have big names, are really hard to play.
Mm-hmm.
I never found Martin guitars easy to play, so I never owned a Martin acoustic guitar. Taylor guitars to me are only a little bit easier to play. So that's why I was so excited about the Boucher. I also play some Chinese guitars, believe it or not, which are rather inexpensive, but they are worth 3 or 4 times the amount of money you spend on them, because they're made by a very fine violin maker in China, and they're called Eastman. And I highly recommend them. I have 2 Dreadnoughts from them. They're very easy to play, and they sound great. And they cost, I think, I don't know if I want to give out numbers, but they're cheaper than a Taylor and a Martin. And then they've got some electric guitars. I've got, how many do I have? I have 2 of their electric guitars. One is a hollow body like an ES335, only it sounds so much better and records great. And I've got I think it's an SV59, which is a solid body from Eastman. So on the lower end of things, Eastman is a tremendous guitar and much better in quality than Gibson, believe it or not.
The 335s are what I love, because I can play acoustically or just hook them up. But a Les Paul, that's like playing a tree, because they are so heavy. I was like, this is a beautiful sounding instrument, but my back is going to break from trying to play it.
Yes. I've had, you play a 3-4 hour gig and your shoulder is talking to you.
For real. Let me ask you some of my fun questions. So, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
mean, if I truly have it now,
Sure.
you know, I don't know if you call it a superpower. I feel like God's been channeling a lot of music through me. Since I lost my wife 4 or 5 years ago, I've written over 350 songs in those years alone. And I really feel like that's from God, you know. It's such, you know what it's like. And so I feel I've been really, really blessed. And I pray that it continues, you know.
You are the first person to ever answer the same way I do. I
Oh,
think
there you go.
I think the music is my superpower. I absolutely believe this is my superpower. So
Hmm.
yes. All right, right on.
Yes.
Right on. What type of guitar strings are you using on that beautiful instrument?
Um, I tend to use Diodario.
What?
And
So do
yeah,
I. Dear Dario Chrome flat wounds?
you know, I haven't tried the chrome yet. I'll have to try them. Usually they're nickel, and I've been spurring the coated ones because they send it, they sound a little bit muffled to me. So I don't use the coated ones. I use the straight ahead, and these are tens. Although I always, sometimes I put 11s on it because it gets better tone. The
Hmm.
thicker the string. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan used 12s.
Yeah.
I mean, that was wacko.
He had steel fingers.
He did, you know. So on my one of my Eastman electrics, I have 11s, and that's primarily a rhythm instrument. So I don't have to do a lot of bending because that's the one thing. If you have thicker strings, bending them is a little tough, you know. But if you play
Truth.
just rhythm guitar, 11s are no problem because
11s
you've
are
got
what
them on your acoustic guitar. You've got 12s on your acoustic guitar or 13s.
I prefer the 11s as well. And when I
Yeah,
teach my guitar lessons, I tell my students, if you start off with the lighter gauge, then your fingers have nothing to build up into. So you need to start somewhere in the middle. Start with the middle gauge. It's better for you.
definitely,
Better for your
definitely.
fingers to learn, to gain strength. Do you? I know you have a pet.
Yeah, he's right next to me.
What kind of pet is it? What is it?
Let me see if I can get him. There he is.
Aw,
he's Heinz 57. I got him from a rescue league.
yes.
He's 20 pounds and he's so smart. You wouldn't believe how smart he is. And every day I'm emailing my friends, how smart is this kind of thing? And, I could talk to him. Like the other day, I've got a walk-in shower. It's just architecturally what they had at this house. It's an older house. And I said to him, you need a shower today. You rolled into something and you smell a bit today. You need a shower. But I didn't expect, he doesn't like to take showers, right? So I walk in the shower and the next thing I know, he comes in the shower. He
All right.
listened to me and he let me give him a shower. So, he chooses what he eats for dinner. I'll give him a choice. I say, you want chicken or you want beef? Sometimes I'll, give him a choice, one in one hand and one in the other, and he'll pick what he wants. And if you try to give him what he didn't choose, he won't eat
Smart dog.
it.
Smart dog.
You
I
wouldn't believe
recently
it.
became a pet owner, so I'm learning they are they are sentient little beings, and
Oh
they are
yeah.
very smart. If well, this one is mine is very smart. She she literally slipped through the fencing on my patio, and I'm like, you need to come back in here. So she tried like 3 times, and I was like, oh no. And then I was like, I gotta come get her because she didn't have a leash on. She walks around to the front door and is sitting there waiting for me. I was like, oh, okay. So you're smart. You know where you live. You know where your food is. I was like, all right, you're smart. We'll go from there. I was like,
She's not going to leave a good thing.
I've never owned a pet before, so this is my first time. She's a Chihuahua Terrier.
Oh, cool.
Uh, she's 12 and a half pounds. So
Oh, wow.
don't need anything bigger than that. Oh, let me ask
No,
you, do you take your dog to your shows, to your live shows?
no, I haven't because he loves piano and he loves acoustic guitar, but he doesn't like electric guitar.
Mm,
It hurts his ears, I guess, and he scatters and he gets confused around crowds too, So that I can't do. I wish I could. If I, hit the road, I'm going to take him with me,
yeah.
but he's not going to be near the stage because it's too loud for him. Yeah.
Understand?
He's not a rocker.
Is, what is it the Spin Doctors? I think it's Spin Doctor's dog has some custom made headphones for him. So
Oh,
I've been researching headphones for my dog. Right now she
oh,
can slip out of them. I'm like, well, that's
that's a great
useless.
idea.
Um, they've got this calm sock basically that you can put around their head for their ears because their ears will flap over. But she figures out how to wiggle out of that, and I was like, man, you're not. And then I bought her some in ears, and then she just shakes her head and they flip out. I was like, no, this is not
Yeah.
working. We're gonna figure it out because she's gone to 12 of my shows so far. She's
Oh,
my
cool.
she's my side dog. I'm not loud yet
That's great.
for her to be for it to bother her too much. And if it is too loud, then I make sure that she's pretty far away, that I have
Uh-huh.
someone to look to where
That's
I can
great.
see them and she can see me,
Uh-huh.
type of thing. So,
But it is
yay!
amazing. He loves piano, and he'll stay there even after I leave it. He wants me to keep playing. He just loves the piano.
Well, does your does your dog try to play the piano?
No, but we had a cat. My late wife and I, we had two cats and two dogs. And when I played Hey Jude on the piano, one of the cats, Stripes, would jump on the bass keys, and she'd look at me and she'd go, "Mama, mama." She'd be singing. She'd look at my lips and she'd sing along with me.
Beautiful creatures,
Isn't
smart.
that something?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did you grow up with musicians as in your family, like your
Oh,
mom or
yes.
dad or aunt or something?
Oh, yes. My grandfather on my mother's side was a hit songwriter from the 20s and 30s, Jack Shokrit. And he had a big band. He was a virtuoso jazz keyboard player. You should, boy, they're on YouTube, a lot of the recordings, and some of the stuff he did is impossible. And so he was a great pianist and a great band leader. The Dorsey brothers began in his band.
Oh, wow.
And Joe Venuti was in his band, a lot of big jazz musicians. And when I went to see Benny Goodman in Chicago at the end of a concert, his wife was there. And I said, "Did you know my grandfather?" And I mentioned the name, and his wife spoke up, and she said, "Oh, we love Jack. We just loved him." And Duke Ellington brought one of his girlfriends to my grandfather for vocal lessons.
Wow.
And my grandmother told me this story. The Duke comes to pick up his girlfriend, and my grandfather says, "Hey, man, that's a beautiful tie." And Duke said, "You like it, man?" And he took it off and gave it to my grandfather.
That's legendary stuff. Legendary.
Isn't that?
And I will
And then
say
my
this.
mother
Go ahead.
was a keyboard, a pianist, and a clarinet player. My father played French horn, and my mother's brother was Sergio Franchi's band leader. I don't know if you remember Sergio. Sergio was very popular in the '60s, but people don't remember him anymore. And then he went on to conduct Man La Mancha on Broadway. He just died a couple of years ago. So I grew up with lots of music. And then I had a friend around the corner who used to be a tap dancer. He toured with Basie. And he got me into jazz big time. And he had a great jazz collection. And I was a latchkey kid. My parents were never home. And he taught me a lot about jazz, And by the way, John Coltrane lived around the block from me.
Wow, dude.
On Long Island. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
I met Alice Coltrane. Yeah.
Are you currently reading any books that you want to share with us?
Well, I've read a lot of what I've been into lately are autobiographies, and primarily of musicians. So I've read Greg Lake's autobiography, from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I read Keith Richards' autobiography. I read a biography of Tom Petty, and I read one of the Duran Duran guys, the guitarist, wrote an autobiography, which was fabulous. I learned, there was a great book by Jeff Emmerich, who was the Beatles' engineer, and I learned a lot from that book. Ooh, that's a great book.
I bet.
I think it's called Here, There, and Everywhere. I'm not sure. Something like that. Jeff Emmerich, and Jeff is spelled with a G, Geoff. He
Definitely.
just died, by the way. But he was responsible for a lot of the great sounds that the Beatles achieved on Revolver and Sergeant Pepper.
That's one of my favorite songs
Yes.
by the Beatles.
Yeah.
Speaking of songs, would you like to serenade us for one song if you are ready?
Yeah, I hope the volume is right. I was trying to set that beforehand.
I'm going to step out so that you can have the full screen.
The the vocal volume might not be right, but we'll give it a shot. Okay.
Spectacular. Ladies and
So
gentlemen, Mr. Rick
if it's too
First.
loud, give me a sign, and I will turn down the something. I will turn down the music so you can hear me. Let me turn the Leslie off. Okay, let's see if this works. Whoops, and now it's not too loud enough. I turned it down. I got, thanks to my engineer, I got the instrumental tracks from my records so I could play along with him. He was a real, Jimmy is a great engineer, and you need somebody like that. Let's see if this works. Whoops. Come on, take me down to Boston now, down to Boston now. Oh, I wanna make it there, down in Austin now, down in Austin now. Walking streets at Stevie, walking Willie, it's a musical heaven. Happy people there, very friendly, and so giving. It's a song on sunshine kind of living. Oh yeah, a party's always starting down in Austin, like a vacation, a celebration. Beethoven and Mozart would be bobbing and club hopping. The music's not stopping. Oh, come on, take me down to Boston now, down to Boston now. Oh, I wanna make it there, down in Austin now, down in Austin now. Come on, take me down to Boston now, down to Boston now. Oh, I wanna make it there, down in Austin now, down in Austin now. Feel your cares and worries fade in Austin. It's relaxing, but it has all this action. See the lovely ladies in the nightclub, just like night doves. Maybe I find my true love. Oh yeah, a party's always starting down in Austin, like a vacation, a celebration. Austin welcomes you with songs extended, like a sweet poem, like a poem. Come on, take me down to Boston now, down to Boston now. Oh, I wanna make it there, down in Austin now, down in Austin now. hope you heard that okay.
Welcome back, Mr. Rick Furst. Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. I want
Well,
to do
thank you.
that song. I was like, that's so much fun. That's
Thank you.
excellent. Excellent, excellent. Loved it.
You heard the vocals okay?
We can hear the vocals, yes. We'll work on it for another time for another show for you.
Okay,
Yeah?
next time I'm gonna be more high tech.
When you if you can see my arrangement, my rig is what we call it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens going on, so I can do all this.
Oh, you got to tell me, sometime what you have there.
I actually teach people how to set up for a live show, so I
Okay,
would
you're
happily. Fantastic, but love that. That's got a instant click ear candy in your ear. Down in
Thank
Austin
you.
now, down in Austin now, and the guitar. Ooh, sweet! You got chops,
Thank you.
dude. You got total groovy chops. What?
Thank you, man.
Besides
you.
the inspiration of Austin, what is your creative process when you write songs? I know you said that there are 300 and something songs in the past 5 years.
Right.
For me right now, what's happening is I'm getting full compositions of songs in my sleep. I'm like,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
that's nice. I can't write that down. I can't push record in my head to play it. I was like, I appreciate you. How do I play it back? I will try to do this thing while I'll try to record what I hear when I first wake up. And I think it's like beautiful, but it comes out. I'm like, that's not a song.
Well, I get it. When that happens, I get up. And because, when I was in a rental, I couldn't do this, but now I have my own home. I get up no matter what time of night it is, and I record on my iPhone the idea. Because years ago, Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees was doing an interview on the radio, and he taught me an important lesson. He says, if you don't record your song idea right away, you'll forget it. Forget it. So he said back then they didn't have iPhones, but I'm talking about the late 70s. He said he would call his home phone, he call his home number and let the answering machine start, and he would sing the idea into the answering machine to have it. So he'd remember it. So since then, I use my iPhone. I've got over 10,000 audio files on that.
Yeah.
It's very important to get it down because, 5 minutes later, you'll forget.
Truthful. Very true. Very true. It really, literally, the stuff I'm coming up with sounds like I'm growling at a bear. And I'm like, that's not a song. I guess it could be, but it's not.
Maybe it is.
It could be. I have to go back and listen to them later again. Let me find some more.
It's all how you write it.
True, it'll come out. Bam, 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 bam. Like I'm still trying to learn. I haven't learned how to use this piano yet. I got it. It's only 40, what? It's 3 octaves.
Oh,
So
yeah, I can't play those.
Well,
I need 88 keys.
You need the full piano.
Yeah. It's true. My electric keyboards are all 88.
That's your case that you have has wheels, I hope.
I know they weigh a ton. By the way, I had one song come to me, but songs that come to you right away obviously are rare, but those are usually the good ones, don't you find?
I do, because they're the ones that are easiest to play and stick.
Mm-hmm. I was at years ago when I was in my 20s. I was at a girlfriend's apartment. It was my first night spending with her, and I had an idea, and I got up out of bed and I wrote it down. That's how important my songs are.
And people have to realize if you're dating a musician, content comes when it wants to come. It's not our fault. Right. Got to write it down, period, or record it or something. Got to.
That's right.
and you're going to be in it somehow, some way.
Yeah. Well,
Somehow.
you probably can speak to this too. I mean, I've had some partners who felt my music was, they were jealous of my music,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
and I couldn't spend enough time on the music because they always felt they wanted more attention, and it was taking up too much time. But music does take up time.
It absolutely does. And it's the gift that we were given, and if we don't use it, we don't get to keep it.
That's
And
right.
I've never dated a musician. I've thought about it, but I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that. But civilians aren't that. I haven't dated a civilian that could handle it so far. So that's why I recently got a dog. Hi.
Oh, see, there you go.
Like I get
Well,
a
my
dog.
wife was my duo partner, and so
Oh,
that worked out really well.
that's a nice blessing.
If you have the thing is that if you do have a spouse or a lover who's a musician, they have to like your music
True.
because but nothing beats being in a duo with your partner.
I have not experienced that. That's
Yeah.
another chapter of my life once I finish this part right here. Because I'm
Yeah.
also a full-time student, and I'm like, okay, I got it. I don't know.
Wow, you got your plate full.
Super full. And as my friend Pat Bookta says, I got 13 plates spinning, and I'm just trying to keep them all going. Keep them all going. Do you like to eat something particular before you do a show, or I know afterwards?
I
I'm
don't.
starving.
I don't usually eat before a show because it causes problems singing and everything.
Hmm.
You end up wanting to burp, or you get too much
Phlegm.
some liquid in it. Somehow and you could get heartburn, and that messes things up. Plus the fact that I'm usually nervous before a show. But what I do bring with me, this might interest you, I bring olive oil. Because if my voice is dry, like a little teaspoon of olive oil, it has to be better olive oil, because sometimes the cheaper olive oils sting you for some reason. But good olive oil will refresh your voice, will moisten it. I also bring aloe juice, because aloe juice is very healing.
Mhm.
And then I bring coffee because sometimes you need something warm, to keep your vocal cords warm. So I always have those three things available.
Are you using virgin olive oil or
Yes.
okay?
Oh, yes.
Huh.
Yeah. You have to get a good quality, again, because for some reason the cheaper brands, they have something in there that burns your vocal cords, which is no good. But you'd be amazed how much that helps you when your voice is dry.
I use honey, the local honey. That's my
Uh-huh.
go-to. I usually have some honey next to me,
Uh-huh.
especially allergy season is here. Amongst COVID,
I know. I
it's
know. That's
killing
why
me.
I have asthma, so I call, the allergies are crazy in Austin.
Huh. I have to look at. Yeah. Hopefully you didn't move towards the cedar. Hopefully.
No.
Woo,
No, but
cedar.
it's a challenge here. I've never had, the allergies haven't been this bad in a long time, but I'll deal with it.
Allergies are weird. My first month here, something triggered the allergies in my ear canal, into ear tubes, whatever,
Yes,
and
eustachian tubes.
they felt like they had like a hot iron had been taken. I was like, what kind of allergies is this? I was like, why is this? This not normal. No, don't like it. Yeah.
You know what I found though? If you take an allergy pill, it really screws up your singing. So you can't really do that when you have a gig.
I've been doing Allegra for like over a year, more than a year, and it so far hasn't bothered me, but I can't do
Oh,
like
okay.
Sudafed or any of that kind of stuff because it makes me loopy.
Hmm.
Sudafed. So I don't do very many medications. Talking about me.
Yes,
Rick,
yes.
you're amazing. You're a gem. Let me
Well,
find some more
thank you.
questions.
So are you.
Find some more questions for you.
And I love the fact that you do psychedelic music.
Yes, the stimulation of the mind does not have to be drug induced, y'all. It just
Yeah,
be
I
just
love that. I love that.
thank you. Mm,
Oh,
do
by the
you
way,
go
you
ahead?
talked about songs that come to you right away. My late mother, after I lost my wife, she at some point wanted me to start dating again, and so she went on Match.com And she's looking through these profiles of the women, and she said, they all want a free vacation, she said to me. So I said, come to the piano. And I sat right down and I wrote, this song came to me, I swear to God, right on the spot. And it was called Free Travel for Love.
Good title.
It was, it's like a Randy Newman-esque tongue in cheek, free travel for love. They just want free travel for love. So I say, it's easy to find love. All you do is provide a free vacation. That was the song, But that all came at once, and I recorded it. It turned out it's kind of like a Hoagie Carmichael meets Randy Newman song, and I had a fabulous jazz saxophonist play on that, Tony Bray,
Ooh.
And that's coming out on December 2nd in my the Riddle album.
Beautiful. Is your second album going to be more? Since you said saxophone, it's going to be more Christmassy. Album?
It's going to be more. It's piano heavy.
Okay.
There's not a lot of guitar in it. It's almost all piano, and it's very different. But all of my songs are different. That's the strange thing is that, and it makes it difficult, I guess, to sell myself because, like mid-period Beatles, where you have Eleanor Rigby and then Taxman, a sweet ballad and then a hard rocking song. That's kind of what I'm all about. But some of my recent songs, I just felt they all seem to fit together. So it's going to be a lot less rock sounding. It's going to be more, and some of the piano work is very classical. I didn't plan it that way, but for example, I have a UFO song, which is really, I'm really thrilled with, because my engineer Jimmy, he came up with a processing of my voice that really gives it that UFO sound, but not in an obvious way, but in a classy, artistic way. And then I had a drummer, Chris Degge, who went crazy like Ringo at the end. And I think it's the standout song of the album. And if you solo the piano, you'll hear Chopin or Schubert. It's a classical piano. And it changes keys every 2 bars. So it is wild, because I wanted to make it spooky. And again, it was a song that came very quickly. I did not plan the chords. It just came out that way. And that's, as I say, what it's maybe a new genre, classic, classical rock or something, or classical flavor. And one of the songs, The Riddle, has a cadenza in the middle, like a Mozart cadenza. And and I have some bass piano work going, which I stole from Beethoven. And but nobody picks up on that. And so there's a lot of classical stuff in The Riddle. And if you isolate the piano, it sounds like classical music. And yet my vocal is kind of like a rock vocal over it. And some people have said, like my drummer, he says to me, man, he says, it's a blast playing your music. He says, you've got that Bowie vibe going, but you're not Bowie, So some people hear David Bowie in there. I don't know why, but that's kind of what my next album is going to sound like. But it's all over the place. I have some sweeping love songs that have a real soaring melody that may remind you of, I don't know, Barry Manilow and
Neil
Billy
Diamond
Joel.
is who I thought.
I'm sorry?
Neil Diamond is who I thought.
Oh, Neil Diamond. Well, yes. Well, the funny thing is on my song Afghanistan, which that dropped recently too, and that's on my next album. I purposely threw in some Neil Diamond New York accent in there.
Nice.
I said, 20 years of fighting that bloody war, I gave it that New York accent because I thought it needed reality, and nothing speaks reality like a New York accent.
That's truth. That's truth right there. Truth right there.
But occasionally we channel, I heard Paul McCartney talk about it. So I thought, okay, I'll do that too. Like he channeled Ray Charles on one of his tunes. So I thought, well, that's what I'll do, to fit this style appropriately, A funny thing is many times I channel Sarah Vaughan and Nat King Cole.
Nice.
Because they're great singers and I learned a lot from them. And you will hear some Sarah Vaughan kind of endings on my songs on my next album.
I'm
if you listen for them.
Currently getting asked. Go ahead. No,
Nobody who's not a super Sarah Vaughan fan would pick up on it, But I learned a lot from how she did. I mean, she was a genius, and I think she and Ella and the Queen of Soul, were the three best, at least
sing.
female vocalists. I don't know if you need to divide them, but of the 20th century, and maybe they were the three best of all people, all singers in my book. So Aretha Franklin, Queen of Soul, I meant. I can't do Aretha, but I can kind of learn some things from Sarah and make it work for me. And Nat King Cole had those open vowels, he
Mm.
had them in it. And for ballads, it's helpful to think of him,
I get told, or when I first started, I got told I sounded a lot like Sarah Vaughan. I hadn't heard her music at the time when I started.
You can't beat that.
I was like, oh, I had to go look and see who that is. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love that. Nat King Cole, love his style, and can't beat Aretha. You could,
No.
but she would whoop you.
I met Sarah. I wrote for Downbeat magazine years ago when I lived in Boston.
Wow.
And I profiled Sarah along with Mel Torme and some other great people on one concert tour. And to me, I mean, when she got done with a song, you thought you had listened to a symphony. She developed songs. I'm not talking about her commercial work, and that's true of Nat King Cole too. I'm not talking about their commercial work. I'm talking about their, what they did when they wanted to do what, they had the freedom to do what they wanted to do. And I mean, she was so creative. It was unbelievable. So there's a lot to, you can learn a lot from, and I'm constantly learning. I'm still, I'm a sponge trying to learn.
That's what we're supposed to do as creatives. We're supposed to always be learning. If question, what would you tell the up and coming artists to encourage them to be an artist, or what encouragement have you been given as an artist that kept you on path to keep being an artist?
Well, I can answer that question in many different ways. One thing is that, after losing my wife and being out of the music business about 8 years, because I was a caretaker for years, for her. And then after I lost her, I was a caretaker for my parents who also died. And when I came to Austin to start anew and forget about the sad past, I went into the studio with some of these songs, and it's primarily young people, And I told them, I said, maybe I'm a fool. I'm crazy to be going back in the music industry at my age, because it's a youth-oriented. And my engineer, Jimmy, he grabs me by the shoulders and he says to me, God wants you to do this. Mm-hmm. God bless him. I mean, that was a nice thing to say. And so I look for feedback. I always want to, and that's encouraged me and let me know I'm on the right track. But what really encourages me is when I feel like I'm making progress and I'm learning. Like with a new song, I always try to do something different, and if I can do something different and achieve that and get in the studio and I study the great recordings, and the great artists. And when I feel like I'm becoming a better recording artist, which is what I feel like recently, I feel like I'm zooming ahead. Then that encourages me to go on, because it's a gas, as you know. It's when you hear, when you finally get it together and figure it out. Now, that being said, there are a lot of recordings I have just rejected and I will not put out because they did not achieve the level I wanted them to achieve, So you don't always get there. But when you start getting, like my UFO song, I really think is pushing me to a new level. And the thing is, don't get discouraged. For the young musicians, don't get discouraged by mistakes. Because when I was in a band, when I was in high school, I was in a rock band. They were all high school students. And the bass player, who also supplied the weed, bass players always do, don't they? Anyway, I haven't smoked in years, but back then I was young and I was experimenting. We all did. But anyway, he said to me, I made a mistake. I was a lead guitarist in this band, and I got really upset with myself. And he said, wait a minute. He says, the mistakes are a gift. They're your best way to learn, he said. And then I realized he was right. So since then, you make a mistake, you say, oh, okay, what can I learn from this? And it's really, mistakes are even blessings. So you got to have patience for yourself too, and don't get down on yourself. You know, I started as a musician at a very early age. And when you're a child, you don't get down on yourself like you do when you're an adult. So my advice to young players, don't get down on yourself and don't lose patience. Just keep at it. We all go through that phase, and learn from your mistakes and treat them like blessings that they are, you know?
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely true. I tell my students, you can make mistakes, just don't practice the mistakes. Make them.
There you go.
Because you're going to make mistakes. You're learning how to do the skill that you're trying to do. Just don't practice that mistake. So absolutely,
That's right.
You need to make the mistakes.
Right. I mean, even the greats make mistakes. You know that, you know.
They have
and what they tend to do, I forget who said it, but they said, if you make a mistake, repeat it like you plan to do. You know,
Ruth, probably Miles. Miles probably said it.
Yeah, somebody. It may have been Herbie
or Miles. Coltrane hurts my head. I was like, I like Coltrane, but so much. He puts so much in the measure. I'm like, dude, there's only so much I can absorb. Just a second.
Yeah, he really pushed the envelope. He pushed.
It's like, what kind of drugs are you taking?
Yeah, talk about brilliant.
Super brilliant. Just it's like, did you breathe? What? Okay.
The funny thing is, my songs, the last song I played you is my most simple song, one of my most simple, and I designed it that way because I wanted to become an anthem for Austin. I want everybody to be able to play it and want to sing it, you know. But a lot of my songs have a very complex harmonies. Like on my next piano, they sound smooth and they sound like ear candy. They sound beautiful. But for a musician to come in and play them isn't so easy. And I didn't realize that until an Austin recording studio owner told me that. He says, you know, you're bringing these guys in and you have these crazy chord changes and you're expecting them to do it in one sitting. It's not going to happen, he said. But to me, they sound natural, you know, and to the ear, nobody notices that. You know, the average listener wouldn't notice that it's complex harmony. It's just the way I hear things. Because I come from a jazz and a classical background. I started playing rock, jazz, and classical professionally at the age of 12. So I've always had these three lines going at the same time. And I still listen to a lot of classical and jazz music. And when you do that, your chords, when you write songs, are going to be a little bit, you know, a bit adventurous.
Not a bit. When I started playing guitar, I did not play regular basic chords. I played jazz chords because they were prettier and they were easier for me to sing.
That's right.
When I had to go back to learn regular chords, I was like, I don't know how to make an A. I know how to make an A minor 7 flat the 5th or whatever. I'm like, I know how to do that. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen. You know, at one point, I admired Tom Petty. You know, and I thought, well, let me see if I can write a 3-chord song. You know, and when I try to write a simple song, it sounds like crap. You know,
I don't see that coming from you, but it may sound like that to you.
I just have to go with my ear. And, you know, the funny thing is, the more I write, the more my chords become unusual. And I have a song I just wrote the other day that goes from the key of E minor to E flat major. And they're not supposed to go together. But I found that when you think melodically, the melody, you can use the melody, listen to where the melody is, and it enables you to go to many different places, you know, when you get to a certain place. And often, I don't want my music to sound like anybody else's, and I don't want it to sound boring. So I'm always looking for someplace interesting to go. And it's the melody that gets you there, you know, the notes, you listen.
We have time if you'd like to do another song. If not, I am happy to keep talking to you because you are definitely a gem of a person to talk to.
I'd be glad to play, or I'd be glad to keep talking. I don't have to play.
I enjoy your playing, but let's keep
Cool.
talking. Um,
Yeah,
are you now that you're here in Austin, do you know about the Health Alliance for Austin Musicians?
they were great to me.
Okay,
They got me my COVID shots. Yeah.
excellent. Do you know about Music Cares
No, I don't.
through
No.
the Grammys? Do you know about Austin, Texas musicians?
No.
Okay,
No,
and I
you'll
know
have
you
to.
just learned about American Federation of Musicians, right?
That's right. Yes.
Cool. Those are the
Aaron Lack has
ones.
been very good to me.
Aaron is a very good guy, very
He
very
is
gentleman person,
the
and
president. Yeah.
calling him brother is
We
my
spoke
motto.
about you.
Oh, good. He's good guy.
I
He's
saw.
good people.
I saw him too. Yes. Yes. So were you.
Thank you. So are you, brother.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna
So no, you'll have to email me and let me know about all these things. You know.
I'm gonna put that one up there. Y'all check out Austin, Texas musicians. It's a group that I'm on the board of directors of. We're close to 5,000 musicians in the Austin, Texas area. And then this is neat. This site did some different things. Music Cares will help you with if you need some support financially. Music Cares is who you should reach out to. If you've put out some music, at least 6 songs, they are good to reach out to you. And then check out Health Alliance for Austin musicians. Help you get medical, dental, health insurance. And then I need to put one up here for Sims. Sims is for mental health. It's
Ah,
also a service that's available here in Austin. And it is time for meh. Oh yeah, it's time for the Health Alliance rock and roll. It looks blurry. Anyway, it's time to sign up. So go enroll. Enrollment stops on the December 15th, but apply and a schedule for rock and roll for Health Alliance for Austin musicians. I'm an advocate for them because they are wonderful and everybody needs health insurance of some
that's
sort.
beautiful. Yes. Yes.
It's especially us musicians when we're just like gotta
Right.
gotta we don't work a corporate job, so
Right.
this is magical for us. Let's see. Rick,
And by the
what?
way,
Go
I
ahead.
found it really hard to break into the Austin club scene here. You know, I've worked in New York, Chicago, Boston, you know, some major cities. And I never had trouble getting success. But in this town, man, the doors are just closed. It's really hard to break them down.
I'm gonna help you
I'm
change
doing a
that.
gig in Georgetown, by the way, on November 6th at Ken's Music at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. It's a free concert. And it's an EP release concert. It's in conjunction with the release of Down to Austin, my 5-song EP. Um, you know, and I've got a smattering of gigs, but I would really like to be working regularly. And it's just been a little bit hard to break those doors down. They don't even answer your emails or you return your phone calls. They don't even give you the courtesy of a thank you, we're not interested. They just completely ignore you. And I find that a little bit upsetting, you know?
I can help you with that, brother.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
The
Thank you so much.
Austin musicians is where you want to be. Austin, Texas
Okay.
musicians is where you want to
Cool.
be. I'll help you get registered and sign up, and we
God
can
bless you.
get you some gigs.
Super.
And
Super.
to the rest of the musicians out there in the Austin area, same goes for you. Come and join our group, Austin, Texas musicians, and then join the Austin, Texas musicians pro group, and we can get you some gigs. I'm just saying, come
Okay. I'll do
along,
that.
come do the work,
Definitely.
come be a part of the
Definitely.
group. Um,
Because, you know, when I was in Boston, for example, I worked 6+ nights a week, every week, you know, and I worked with every union contractor there was. They call them contractors, the booking agents, you know.
I would
So I'm
say,
used to working a lot, and I want to, you know, get out there and play a lot.
let me
And,
suggest to you to not. I'm not putting down the clubs. Reach out to the hotels.
oh, okay.
Reach out to hotels.
Oh,
because
right.
they have events going on all the time and they need
Cool.
entertainment.
That
And
sounds
there's,
great.
yeah, that's the best avenue I would suggest for you. But
Super.
on camera, I
Huh.
have other stuff for you to do.
Okay. Cool.
Um, let's see
We
here.
should
We
talk.
we definitely will talk because I believe we're
Cool.
kindred spirits,
Definitely.
whatever,
We're
whatever.
definitely.
Um, so you talked about your next gig coming up. Is this Saturday?
It's next Saturday, November 6th, a week from this Saturday.
Okay.
And I'm going to be doing primarily my music, although I feel an obligation to, to give people, even the Beatles played cover tunes in their first gigs. So until people learn, and my tunes become their favorites, I'm going to play some, like I may open with Lady Madonna, something like that on piano. I'm going to play primarily piano there, keyboards. But I will bring my guitar and actually both electric and acoustic. But it's going to be an entertaining. I'm going to, I feel an obligation to wow the crowd, but I also, after all these years, know how to do that. And I've got a lot of things to dazzle them. And then I've got some sing-along songs that, I'm going to throw in just a few songs that you never hear because they're hard to play and a lot of people don't play them. And it'll be a real fun night.
And where can they find your music? I put your Facebook link up here, but where else can they find your
The
work, your
music
music?
is streaming on Spotify and Pandora, and worldwide on other streaming services, and then it's being sold on Amazon and iTunes and Apple Music streams it. It should be just about everywhere now. But I have two singles out. Those are the only things that are out right now. Afghanistan, which is written from the point of view of the veteran, kind of like what Billy Joel did with the Vietnam veterans with Goodnight Saigon. And then I have a song which I played here, Down to Austin. That is also available as a single. Now on November 5th, a week from today, the Down to Austin 5-song EP debuts. And that is guitar-centric, by the way. That is guitar heavy. And I have a song that is much more heavy from a rock standpoint than what you just heard. It's called Free Spirit. And it was about a pre-wife wild girlfriend. And it's a real rocker. And then I have on that same album, because I'm all over the place stylistically, and I can't decide what I want to be when I grow up. I have a Texas waltz in there because just before COVID hit, when I moved to town, which was great timing, as you know, a young lady who was a friend of a friend, we weren't dating. She was too young for me, but she was kind enough to show me around town, and she took me to Don's Depot. I can't even remember her name. She, it was just a couple of favors she did for me to show me around. And when I went to Don's Depot, I fell in with the romance of it. By the way, I met Mary Wilson in Austin. I don't know if you went to her
Nice.
event, right? I haven't told a lot of people this, but we had a date. She made a date with me. And the trouble is, it was supposed to be at her last Austin concert. And so I bought it. I was in the second row. And the trouble was, when I got there, she was already suffering from heart failure, you could see, but she died from that shortly afterwards.
Mm.
I wrote 3 songs for Mary when she died because in my head, we were already together.
Mm.
I really thought we would have a relationship. And the only thing that prevented it was she got sick. And when I saw her on stage, I don't know if you went to that last concert, but she had to leave the stage repeatedly. She was sweating profusely. It was very clear she had heart failure. And the band was like vamping and waiting for her to come back. And sometimes when she came back, she had to sit down. It was very sad. And there was no way I was going to go backstage when she was clearly in need of going to the hospital. And when she died, it killed me. I cried, man. I really cried. And as I say, I wrote 3 songs for her. And that at least one of them is going to be on my next album after The Riddle comes out in December 2nd. The next album after that, I have one called Mary, Mary. And one of the lines is, and it's kind of Motownish. One of the lines is, "Only you and I know," And so my styles are all over the place, and I write about things that mean something to me, you know. And she was the first woman that I felt like made me want to get into a relationship with, you know, after losing my wife. I fell in love with her. I spent the whole day with her practically at the LBJ library because we came early, and she was doing photographs, and I started talking to her. I told her she was the best voice in the Supremes, and I really believed that. And we started talking, and then there was a reception afterwards that went on forever, you know. And during her talk in the auditorium about her latest book on fashion and the Supremes, she said the one thing that disappointed her was that she didn't find the love of her life. So when I heard that, I thought, I'm gonna you know, see if we hit it off, and maybe there's an opening there, you know, because I should, you know. So anyway, I thought she might be open to a relationship, and I saw her, you know, and we started talking, and at one point she grabbed me by the hand and pulled me close, and I was in a hug, you know. I don't want to describe exactly what it involved, and she whispered something to me, and it was clear we both felt we made a huge connection that night, and she wanted to go out, and it's just timing that prevented that from happening. But that was a great experience, and obviously the Supremes and Mary Wilson. I mean, some of the greatest artists who ever walked this earth, and she sang at that LBJ. She still had a great voice. I mean, a great voice. There's nothing diminished about it. It may have been better than ever, you know,
Truth.
soulful and everything. And so anyway, I don't know why I mentioned that, but
it's a beautiful
it
thing
was
to have that.
my often
Beautiful thing to have that connection, even if it's only for an instant. It's still a beautiful thing.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Thank you so much for being here, Rick.
Thank you.
Definitely know that we are going to keep connecting this way in the future.
Definitely.
So I will send you all the information about what we went over today. And this broadcast will be on my YouTube channel so that you can see it.
Cool.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here and listening to Mr. Rick Furst. And I'm going to say bye, Mr. Rick. And we will see you next time. Same back channel next week at 1 p.m. Central Time. My name's Sonia Javette. It has been my honor and my pleasure to be here with you today. Peace, love, and psychedelic.